If you believe that abstaining from alcohol use and attending AA meetings is all you need to do for your sobriety, you are greatly mistaken. I've seen many men who fell into this trap and needlessly suffered emotionally, mentally, and physically. I remember this one day vividly early in my recovery when I drove by the house of a man who was well known in the AA rooms, well respected, had a lot of recovery, and I actually saw him walking into his house, and I thought to myself, I should stop by and say hello, and I didn't. I kept driving. I found out the next day that he had died of a heart attack. You see, he continued to smoke. He was overweight, so his diet was poor, and he did not exercise. I began my recovery journey 34 years ago. The first thing I did was stop drinking and attended AA meetings, but I knew that I'm a holistic being and that I need to do more than that to support my health journey and my recovery journey. As a physical therapist, mental health counselor, yoga instructor, and personal trainer, I've helped thousands of men throughout my professional career get healthier in all aspects of their life, emotionally, mentally, and physically. The things that I've incorporated in my life throughout my sobriety, and I'll start with the physical. So the foundational physical practices that I live by, number one is sleep, getting a good night's rest. So an hour to 2 hours before I go to bed, I get off all technology. I have the temperature in the room, the bedroom, lower, a little bit cooler, nice and dark, having shades that block out the light in the morning, and no loud noises or distractions. And I make sure that I don't exercise too close to bedtime. So a good night's sleep is one foundational practice. Number two is hydration, making sure that you're well hydrated, drinking half your body weight in ounces, and adding electrolytes to some of those ounces, particularly if you're exercising and sweating a lot. Another foundational practice is breathing, proper breathing. So I have a breath practice. And during that practice, I breathe in and out through my nose, making my exhalation longer than my inhalation. And what that does is it stimulates the part of the nervous system that helps you relax and improves digestion. Nutrition, proper nutrition is very important to your sobriety. Staying away from sugary foods. And this is a mistake I see in the rooms of AA where they provide sugary cakes and cookies, which is another addiction. Sugar is another addiction. And also coffee, caffeine, having multiple cups of coffee. I love the smell and the ritual and the taste of coffee. I've not been a coffee drinker throughout my life, but I enjoy a good cup or a good latte, but I reserve that for weekends because I know that it's not good for me to drink coffee on a daily basis. And that might be different for you. I just know it doesn't feel right in my body. So that's a treat I give myself on the weekends. Another foundational practice is exercise. I've been an endurance athlete my whole life. So that's always been a part of my routine. But there are many men out there that it's not, and I highly recommend that you incorporate exercise into your daily, if not 3 to 5 times a week practice. And that could be as simple as going out for a walk. Walking in nature is so good for you. Moving your body in some way that makes you feel good. It could be dance. I have a really good friend of mine. He's into swing dancing, and he and his wife do a lot of swing dancing. But he also gets up early almost every morning and goes to the gym. So strength training is another great exercise regime to incorporate. So those are the foundational practices that I incorporate into my life that supports my sobriety. Let's talk about the emotional. Just sharing at an AA meeting, in my opinion, is not enough to deal with your emotions, the struggles you've had with expressing feelings, and particularly for men, we're culturally conditioned not to do that. So for me, I got involved and met a great therapist, and I worked with her for 10 years. So I highly recommend some sort of counseling or psychotherapy. And the other thing I did, which was really life-changing for me, was getting involved in a men's group. And that's where I met my best friend, Ron, who's a clinical social worker. He's the one who's into swing dancing. Being involved in a men's group allowed me the opportunity to create a bond and fellowship with other men that was so important to me, and something that it wasn't fostered growing up. The need to need other men, other people, was seen as a sign of weakness. Being vulnerable was a sign of weakness. Expressing emotions and crying was, as a man, seen as a sign of weakness. But I can tell you right now that if you do not do those things, it will greatly negatively impact your life, and it did for me. Some of the reasons why I drank was because I was not doing those things. So meeting other men, feeling in a safe environment to be able to be vulnerable, to create bonds, really was life-changing. Then there's the mental component, the mindset. I learned that my thoughts are what really create my life. It creates the people I'm surrounded by. If my thinking is negative, I'm going to attract negative people. And I am going to attract things in my life that I'm not going to be happy about. So I feed my mind positive, inspirational material on a regular basis each morning. And in doing so, I create the life that I desire. And also being grateful is part of that. I have a gratitude journal. So the more grateful you are, and the more you realize there are so many things in your life that you could be grateful for, you are going to attract other things to be grateful for. I'm going to post a PDF of 10 ways you can unlock a fulfilling life. And it's a guide, ultimate guide for men 45 and over. I'm going to post a link to that in the comments below. So remember, you need to do more for your recovery from alcoholism than attend AA meetings and abstain from alcohol. A holistic approach is vital to your overall health. So taking care of yourself on an emotional level, dealing with your feelings. Number 2, dealing with your physical health. And that should be a balanced approach. Hydration, sleep, nutrition, exercise, and breathing, good breath practice. And lastly, a great mindset. And remember, feeding your body through nutrition, good food, but also feeding your mind good material is just as important. If you found this helpful, check out my video on the negative effects of sugar. I'll see you there.